Hello, my name is Erica Tanner. Welcome to my final Universal Design project. The option I have selected for this project is Option 1, Software Design, Planning, and Integration. The title of my project is Penguins, an Informational Literacy Unit Plan using Universal Design for Learning. So you know what to expect. I'm going to go over the presentation content. First, I will go over background information of my unit plan and my classroom. Then I will list the Common Core state standards that I meet within this unit plan. Then I will show you some of the materials required. My unit plan is divided into two parts. Part 1 is a nonfiction unit plan for the book Penguins by Anne Schreiber. Part 2 is a research and writing project. Lastly, I will conclude my presentation by demonstrating ways I applied universal design for learning. I designed this unit plan based on the strengths and needs of my classroom in the past school year. I currently teach at Manville School in Boston, Massachusetts. My students are approximately a second grade reading level. The subject of this unit plan is English Language Arts with a focus on studying informational text. The teaching duration is approximately 3 weeks. And here's a brief description of my unit plan. This unit plan is a nonfiction unit study on penguins. Students will learn about nonfiction text features and structures while also learning about penguins. The final assessment project is writing an informational paragraph on penguins. My unit plan addresses several Common Core standards that fall within two Grade 2 English Language Arts strands, reading informational text and writing. I will go down the list by standard number. There's 2.1, ask and answer such questions as who, what, where, when, why, and how to demonstrate understanding of key details in a text. 2.2, identifying the main topic of a multi-paragraph text as well as the focus of specific paragraphs within the text. 2.3, describe the connection between a series of historical events, scientific ideas or concepts, or steps in a technical procedures in a text. 2.4, determine the meaning of words and phrases in a text relevant to a Grade 2 topic or subject area. 2.5, know and use various text features, such as captions, bold print, subheadings, glossaries, indexes, electronic menus, icons, to locate key facts or information in a text efficiently. 2.7, explain how specific images, such as a diagram showing how a machine works, contribute to clarify a text. 2.2, write informative, explanatory texts in which they introduce a topic, use facts and definitions to develop points, and provide a concluding statement or section. 2.7, participate in shared research and writing projects, such as reading a number of books on a single topic to produce a report, record science observations. My unit plan part 1 is going to focus on the first set of standards in the reading informational text, and my unit plan part 2 is going to focus on the writing standards. The materials I would need are based on the materials I know are available to me in my classroom. Some materials include a smartboard, the book Penguins by Anne Schreiber along with other penguin books, access to the internet, highlighting tools such as highlighter tape, Inspiration software, which is a graphic organizer software, Bookshare, which has thousands of books available online that can be read aloud, access to computers, tablets, or smartphones, reading trackers, and Write Online software. Unit Part 1 is a nonfiction unit plan for the book Penguins by Anne Schreiber. The teaching duration of this part is 8 lessons. Each lesson, with the exception of the introductory lesson, includes building background knowledge, reading from the text, an activity with assessment, and extensions. Lesson 1 introduces students to penguins. I activate prior knowledge by displaying a photo presentation using printed pictures and smartboard presentation. Pictures include the penguin exhibit at the New England Aquarium, which I know some students have visited. Additionally, we will watch an introductory video on penguins available at pbskids.org featuring Mr. Rogers. After looking and listening about penguins, we will talk about penguins by brainstorming and discussing using a graphic organizer called a brain frame telling frame, part of the Empower curriculum we use at my school, and is similar to a KWL chart. Students express what they know or want to know about penguins orally, using a paper template, or using inspiration software. Above is an example of a completed graphic organizer. Next is Lesson 2. The focus of this lesson is identifying the main idea. To build background, I will model the skill of identifying the main idea within a text. After I model the skill, and with my guidance, students practice identifying the main idea within a passage using a text about penguins and highlighting tape, or they can also use Read Out Loud program and highlighter tool. Read Out Loud is a daisy reader using books downloaded from Bookshare and has tools such as highlighting and note-taking as shown above. With this new skill, students will read basic information on what a penguin is using either Bookshare, iBooks, or paper texts. Finding the main idea is then assessed using a template that can be printed and written on, or filled as electronic form. This can be differentiated by providing sentence starters and some to no guidance. Students can then draw their own illustration or copy and paste an image. There are some great extension activities on the website Into the Book. It's a free website that helps reinforce reading strategies. In this example, the strategy is summarizing and identifying the main idea. The activities on this site are really fun and interactive, and the kids love them. The website also reads aloud text. You can check out Into the Book at reading.ecb.org. Next is Lesson 3, and our focus is the nonfiction text feature of maps. To introduce this concept, I scanned and uploaded a page from the book Penguins to display on the smartboard as an alternative option. Because the smartboard is interactive, students can circle areas on the map and highlight text. To assess this skill, students will be given a blank map and will label the continents and identify where in the world penguins live by coloring those regions red. There are many ways to differentiate this assignment. For example, they could use their text as a reference. They can use the previous smartboard display also as a reference. They can use pre-made labels with the continents' names written on them. They can use a paper version of the map or use an electronic version as shown above using Smart Notebook. This nonfiction text feature is a great way to connect to social studies and geography. A great extension activity is using an online interactive map hosted by Education Place. This interactive map asks questions and provides feedback. It also reads aloud text. You can find it at the link provided below, and you can find other great educational interactive activities at www.eduplace.com. Next is Lesson 4, which focuses on the nonfiction text feature, diagrams, and labels. To introduce this, I scanned and uploaded a page from their text to the smartboard display as an alternative option. And again, because the smartboard is interactive, students can circle areas on the penguin and highlight text. After reading in the text about the body parts of penguins and studying the penguin diagram, students are assessed by labeling a picture of a penguin. This is differentiated as students have the choice to write or type or cut and paste the tags or also click and drag using an electronic form version. A fun collaborative extension activity is having students practice labeling each other, such as by name, as well as objects in the classroom using Post-its. It's a great way to get the kids moving around the classroom while also practicing the skill of labeling. Also, my students just happen to love Post-its. Another extension activity is practicing labeling animal diagrams. There are dozens of examples available at Enchanted Learning. Students can either print them out or type on them, by saving them as a PDF and using the text comment tool. These printouts can be used with or without word banks, which is great. You can check it out at the link below and check out more free educational tools at www.enchantedlearning.com. Next is Lesson 5, which focuses on the reading skill of accurately categorizing details within a main idea. Students will practice this using a passage from their book. This passage is about predators, so before reading, I will need to build background knowledge on what a predator is. Students will first define predator and prey using a dictionary. They can use either a manual dictionary, a search engine dictionary, or a picture dictionary like photographicdictionary.com. Students will then watch an interactive video hosted by BrainPop Jr. BrainPop Jr. requires registration that costs money, however, I personally find the subscription fee to be worthwhile. They do have some of their videos available for free at brainpopjr.com. BrainPop Jr. is a great tool because it asks interactive questions. It also has optional closed captioning for each video. BrainPop Jr. also has great extension activities, such as online games, printable activities, jokes, quizzes, and more. Continuing with this lesson, students will read in their text about the different predators of penguins. After reading, they will complete a categorizing frame using a graphic organizer, using either a paper template or inspiration software. This reinforces the skill of categorizing details within a main idea, and you can see an example above. This topic connects very well with science. A great extension activity is the food chain game by Game Up, an interactive game where students practice ordering a food chain. This game is hosted by BrainPop Jr. Next is Lesson 6, which focuses on the nonfiction text feature captions. To activate prior knowledge, I show a smartboard presentation of captions they may see in their lives, such as in social media, magazines and books, and closed captioning on TV. This is to initiate discussion about where you can find captions in real life and the purpose that they serve. With adult modeling and guidance, students will practice finding and reading captions. For this task, students can use a variety of books and National Geographic Explorer, which is a free online informational magazine for kids. This website is interactive and reads aloud text. You can check it out at the link below. Students will read in their books about penguin colonies. To reinforce and assess a new vocabulary term and the skill of captions, students will create their own illustration of a penguin colony and write a caption. Students have the option to draw or copy and paste an image. They can also write or type their response. This can be differentiated by providing caption options in the drop-down menu, sentence starters, or adult guidance. As an extension activity, students can play the caption game on BrainPop Jr. In this game, students draw a picture of an animal and add a caption. As a variation for collaboration, students can draw pictures and trade with a peer to write captions. Another ArtLink variation is to use photography skills and take pictures using a camera in lieu of drawing. Lesson 7 focuses on two nonfiction text features, table of contents and sequencing. To begin, students practice finding information within a book using the table of contents. They can use a variety of informational texts, whether paper copies or virtual, using Read Out Loud and Bookshare. Students will then use the table of contents in their penguin book to find information on baby penguins. As an alternative option, I scan the page from their book to the smartboard display. After finding the information about penguin chicks in their books, students will read about the life cycle of a penguin. Students will then be assessed by sequencing the stages of a penguin chick's life using a template, which can be printed or accessed as a click and drag electronic form. This can also be differentiated by using the text as a reference and using adult or peer support. Students can then practice sequencing skills by playing sequencing games featured on Room Recess. Room Recess has a variety of elementary-level educational games in several content areas. To check out more games, you can go to roomrecess.com. The final lesson in Part 1 of this unit plan is Lesson 8, with a nonfiction text feature focus on photographs. Students will explore this text feature in their book using a selection that includes photographs of the different types of penguins. To build background knowledge, students will watch an interactive YouTube video introducing the different types of penguins. You can view the video at the link below. After looking and listening about the variety of penguins, students will use the photograph display in their text called Penguin Parade that include photographs and captions of the different types of penguins. Students will then answer questions using a printable version or electronic form. This can be differentiated as it will be provided as fill-in-the-blank, typed responses, or drop-down menu. Students can also choose their favorite penguin and can choose to illustrate or copy and paste an image. A really fun extension activity is using an online animation tool called Scratch. Scratch is free to use. In this program, students choose from a variety of movements, sounds, and so on. Students can use Scratch to create a unique animation about their favorite penguin. You can find it at scratch.mit.edu. I will now introduce the second part of this unit, which is the Research and Writing project. The teaching duration of this unit is 2 lessons, but may take 5 days due to the nature of research and the writing process. An overview for Lesson 9 is Building Background in Research. The overview for Lesson 10 is Paragraph Writing, which will include writing an introductory sentence, detailed sentences, and a conclusion. The purpose of this project is to write an expository object description paragraph about penguins. To start, students will brainstorm and identify a penguin's key features using a graphic organizer. Students can do this using pictures of penguins as a guide and with significant to no adult guidance. Students can use a paper template or inspiration software. A way to differentiate this is by having flexibility on the number of key features students will write about. After choosing 3 to 6 key features to write about, students will begin their research. They will be encouraged to use multiple sources to research each key feature at their own pace. Students will be explicitly taught how to access different sources, such as books, search engines, and online encyclopedias. Students record the information they collect in a note recording form. Students can access this as an electronic form or a printable. After students have compiled their research, they are ready to write. Writing in my classroom involves a lot of explicit teaching, modeling, and structure. Above are the steps for writing an expository paragraph. Step 1. Write introductory sentence. Step 2. Write detailed sentences. The number of sentences is based on the number of key features, 1 sentence per feature. Step 3. Conclusion sentence. And lastly, Step 4. Editing the finished product. Students will have access to many learning tools based on their learning needs, such as word banks. This one happens to be an example from learning grids that can be used in Write Online or Clicker and Crick softwares. There's also Alpha Smarts, Write Online writing software, and prompting and errorless teaching. For Step 1, writing the introductory sentence, students can write their own sentence, use a graphic organizer, kernel sentence templates, or use a drop-down menu electronic form as shown here. For Step 2, writing detailed sentences, students can use kernel sentence templates as shown here. A more advanced student could use a blank template, whereas students with difficulties could use a drop-down menu, word bar, or predictive text. Here's some information on Write Online, a program that I am lucky to have access to at my school. Write Online software has text-to-speech, meaning students can hear as they type. It also has predictive text, as you can see in the screenshot above, as well as word bars. It can alleviate many of the stressors of writing. It is a paid program, however, I am fortunate to have this at my school. Many of my students rely on this program. In step 3, writing the concluding sentence, I like to give my students some freedom. This sentence should give a general impression of penguins. Students would use a graphic organizer for this and many tools similar to the ones used for other sentence building. I like my students to add an illustration to their work, whether a hand drawing or a photograph. When editing, students use a checklist to proofread their work. Some students may benefit from peer and/or teacher editing in addition to the self-monitoring. At the bottom of the form, there is a section for my comments to provide individualized and specific feedback. Lastly, at the end of the unit, I love presenting my students with a portfolio of their great work. Each piece of work has some sort of written feedback on it that students can flip through and show off to friends and family. Sometimes as a school, we will invite parents for an exposition of work. My last section of this presentation is demonstrating the ways I have incorporated universal design for learning. This graphic illustrates the 3 principles of UDL: multiple means of representation, multiple means of action and expression, and multiple means of engagement. Multiple means of representation includes providing multiple means of perception, language and symbols, and options for comprehension. Some examples from my unit include photos, videos, graphic organizers, auditory information such as discussion and read aloud, explicit instruction, and low-text tools such as highlighters. Multiple means of action and expression includes providing options for multiple actions, expressive skills and fluency, and executive functions. Some examples from my unit include electronic forms, writing softwares, high-tech tools such as the AlphaSmart, opportunities for practice, choices, and teacher modeling. Multiple means of engagement includes providing options for recruiting interest, sustaining effort, and persistence and self-regulation. Some examples from my unit include making real-life connections and differentiation based on ability. Lastly, as a part of multiple means of engagement, I have some examples of self-regulation and supports that are used in my classroom but not necessarily written within this unit plan. These examples include nonverbal reminders as a part of a behavior management system, providing positive reinforcement with incentives, and allowing for self-regulating breaks. This concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions on Blackboard, and I'd appreciate any feedback. Thank you for watching.